On today's show, the Washington Wizards get the win over Deni, Avdija and the Portland Trail Blazers. It wasn't pretty, but these young Washington Wizards are learning how to win.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
DC family, you are locked on to the Washington Wizards, where you're part of our family. We thank you for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every single day. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, the #1 sports podcast network in the nation, where it's your team free and available every single day, alongside the DC sports content creating savant. Very happy he's dancing right now, Abdullah Ayubi. I'm Ben Schrober, and I cover the Washington Wizards for Roundtable IO. The losing streak is over, everybody. The Wizards don't hit double digits in the loss column for that streak side. 115-111. The Wizards get a win, and I think the front office is pretty happy about this one tonight, AB. I know you're very happy about it. I can see with that smile on your face. So tell us why you're so happy.
Mr. Schrober, I am quite ecstatic right now. Going into this game, literally early on in the day, I put out that short saying, the Wizards, they got to find a way to win tonight. If there's any game that they need to win, it's this one. And the Deni Avdija revenge game, I was told, Ben, by a lot of Deni Avdija stands, which there are a lot, that he's going to have a 40-point triple-double. Deni Avdija tonight, 17 points, 12 rebounds, 6 turnovers. Just saying. Not a #1 option on a championship team. Well, let's talk about our young guy, Alex Sarr. 29 points, 12 rebounds, 6 blocks, Ben. 20 years old, far from a finished product. And this is a Portland Trail Blazers team that's trying to make the play-in, and now they are 2 games below 500. This is a good cultural win. I was literally rooting for this team to win. I'm so used to, and a lot of Wizards fans this whole season are so used to losing to keep that draft pick, but tonight was a good cultural win, finding a way to finish it out, and everyone contributed. Trey Johnson, 18 points, Bub, 11 points, Kyshawn, 19. Love the energy. A lot of technical fouls out there. A lot of mic'd up action from Justin Champagnie and Kyshawn George. Great win by the Wiz, Ben.
I couldn't have said it any better myself on today's show. We tell you why, rather. We think this win is an example of these young Washington Wizards, the youngest team in the NBA, learning to win. I want to talk about the way this team defended Deni Avdija tonight, because I think they did some excellent things. I think Bilal Coulibaly coming back to the lineup, super impactful. Jameer Watkins came up massive for this team. Also want to talk about why Alex Sarr, even though he is far from a complete product, is still as good as he is right now. And then we'll give you, of course, a chance in your favorite segment to let it all out. AB, it's games like this that Washington has really struggled in this season. It's to close down the stretch. And even with 6 minutes left in this game, or 7 minutes, whatever it was left in this game, Washington found itself down by 6, and they were struggling a little bit. They were struggling to string together some shots. They weren't getting the looks they needed offensively, and they got the spark that they needed offensively. They came back to get the lead, and they survived some late drama there. They got that stop they needed. How about Jameer Watkins on the final possession? Brian Keefe subs him into the game to guard up on Shaedon Sharpe, who was excellent tonight with 31 points on 11 of 20 shooting for Sharpe. He was phenomenal in this game for Portland, and he comes up with a massive defensive possession to get it. Now, not just that, Alex Sarr came up massive in this game after really struggling in the third quarter. I think he bounced back in the fourth quarter and was excellent today. 6 blocks for Alex Sarr. 2 steals as well. That's 8 stocks from your 20-year-old center in Alex Sarr. 29 points. Let's see how much he had in the fourth. 2 for 5 from the field with 6 points in the fourth, went 2 for 3 from the line. And then Kyshawn George getting into it with Donovan Clingan. This was a win that this Wizards team would not have got earlier in the season. The youngest team in the NBA is learning how to finish these games, what it takes to win in the NBA. I'm ecstatic that they got this one tonight. If they couldn't get any other wins the rest of the season, I really like what they did tonight. This was a big-time win.
And he's doing that against Donovan Clingan, I can't pronounce his last name, a guy who is in his draft class. They're going to be competing for years to come, and he had 20 rebounds, 14 points. I love the intensity. I saw that Alex Sarr did foul him, getting in someone's face. That's what it is. Alex Sarr trying to assert yourself, showing everyone out there in the NBA that I'm going to be here. I'm going to be a physical force of nature for years to come. Bilal Coulibaly, 5 games out due to injury, came back tonight, 5 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. Jameer Watkins, that first steal he had on Deni Avdija, it was put a smile to my face, Ben. It was cookies. And it's funny because everyone contributed in some sort of fashion. And maybe Bilal didn't give you 15 points, and we want to see the offensive jump, but his ability to impact the game in different facets of the game, when healthy, is very, very impressive. Will Riley tonight, 6 points as well. And I think it was Chris Middleton with 19. The vet showed up, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals, 1 block. So the OG was stepping it up tonight. And it was just a game where maybe Will Dawkins and Michael Winger had like a pregame huddle with the guys before the game and said, hey, let's win this one, guys. Like let's go out there and give some more effort. And it's funny because Portland in the paint, Ben, if I'm looking at it right, they had 54 points in the paint compared to Washington's 32. They had the young center, Hansen. He was a physical force of nature, even though he had 6 points. And they were just trying their best out there to be physical. But the Wizards, the Wiz kids, found a way to win this one. And I will say about Deni one last thing. He loves to look at the refs and look for a call, Ben. That's what I want to say. And I know people are going to talk about the trade, but it is what it is. This was a good win by the Wiz kids. These are wins that down the line when you're competing, you're going to look back and say this was a stepping stool.
I agree with you. I feel like they actually did take a step forward in terms of coming away with a game that maybe on paper they shouldn't have won, because they gave up the most rebounds they've given up in an entire game this season. 69 rebounds for Portland tonight. Career high 20 of them for Donovan Clingan. Sarr had 12, but still could not match the rebounding physicality that he needed. We're going to talk about why I still think he's far from complete, but still playing as well as he is. You get out rebounded 69 to, what was the Wizards total here? 46. A 20.
That's a lot of rebounds, man.
You shouldn't win a basketball game with a rebounding disparity like that. But this team actually bought in on the defensive end. In the final minutes of the game, when they needed to get a stop the most, they found a way. They were matching the physicality and the chippiness that came with this game. And I loved the passion that we had guys show. Kyshawn George, he picked up a technical, which, in hindsight, you say it's not too smart to pick up a technical in the fourth quarter the way Kyshawn George did. But he was frustrated because it was a bad call. Very obviously a foul that should have been called on that play. But George expressed his frustration, and I loved the way he showed his emotions when Clingan and him were wrestling down low to get that rebound. There was real fight from these guys in this game. And I think this Wizards team tried to make a statement in this game saying, we're the youngest team in the NBA, but that doesn't mean we're going to be a walk in the park every single night. This is what we wanted from this team. And obviously you don't want them to win too many of these games. Guys, this is win number 11. So they're doing just fine. We'll check the updated tankathon, whatever. But you have to at some point learn how to win in close games. The Wizards had been terrible at doing that this season. Tonight, they found a way to get it done. And I think that's a big step forward.
Also, if I'm looking at it right now, the Wizards are now giving up 123.1 points per game, which is second to last. So, hey, that's progress right there. But, yeah, they found a way to win a game where in crucial moments anything could have happened. And like you mentioned early on in the year, this is a game where they probably lose. And again, I'm all for tanking and making sure you keep your draft pick, but this was a game that I really, really wanted. I mean, all the headlines of Deni coming back and just the young guys here in Washington seeing that, hey, maybe the front office let someone go and he's balling out there in Portland, but we got something here in Washington. And Alex Sarr, I think it was Sarr, Kyshawn, and Trey Johnson that got chosen to the Rising Stars. And honestly, I want to see more guys, but if there's a max of 3, it is what it is. This is going to be a fun team, Ben, when this team is complete, when they have a point guard. It was a lot of careless turnovers early on, Ben. I was getting frustrated. I know a lot of Wizards fans were. I clearly saw. If I'm looking at the turnover total, Portland had 20 to Washington's 13. So even though it looked careless at the beginning, this Wizards team, without a lack of a pure point guard, they still find a way to keep themselves in these games and just fight, only giving up 111, where at times at the beginning of the season you were giving up 130 to 140 per game. So small things like that, they add up, and that's progress in my book.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you. And you didn't segue it because I just want to hit on this before we actually get to the break here, but Trey Johnson just continues to get better and better, and we can maybe go even further in depth tomorrow about Trey Johnson and his ascension, but when he got going in the second quarter of this game, I feel like that's when the game turned for Washington, because the impact that this guy creates by stretching the floor the way he does. Another game with 3 3-pointers for Trey Johnson. He's one of the top rookies in doing so this season. 18 points for him, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. I think he's getting better at sliding his feet defensively, but most importantly, he's getting better at creating his own shot. Remember the beginning of the season, we're like, why is this team not setting pin downs for him? Why aren't they helping him get looks offensively? Well, maybe in a way he's actually grown as a basketball player, because he just looks so much more comfortable with the basketball in his hands right now. He's doing a good job of reading where the defense is going and seeing what's being dictated to him. When that happens, he's able to get to a spot in the mid-range and find his jumper. That nifty little floater he made on the Euro step today, I was like, dude, like, if you're doing that, we're going places. If Trey Johnson is doing that on a consistent basis, I don't know if he's going to make moves like that on a consistent basis, but I think he can. I think he is one of the most talented scorers they've had in such a long time. And it's crazy to think that we were so distraught over falling to 6th in the lottery. But, man, Trey Johnson looks like a real dude. AB, I'll give you a quick chance to hit on that real quick.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say any better what you just did, Ben. He is a certified future star, 25 points per game. He's just scratching the surface. I remember people were questioning him, his ability to play the game. We all knew what was happening with the hip injury. When he's healthy, Ben, this guy is a walking bucket from all 3 levels of the game.
Absolutely. When we come back, Alex Sarr tonight, 29 points. He is far from a complete product, but he's still out there doing what he did tonight. I'll tell you why. He's still not even close to scratching the surface. Tax season doesn't have to take over your life. This year, TurboTax is making it easier than ever to just hand things off and move on with your day. With TurboTax full service, you can have your taxes done for you by a trusted local expert, start to finish without the stress or the guesswork. Instead of spending hours trying to figure out forms, you can meet with a local TurboTax agent in person or connect online. They handle everything from W-2s to self-employed forms and work with you to get every deduction. You can upload your documents, go about your day, and get updates right in the TurboTax app. It's a huge time saver, and it gives real peace of mind knowing an expert is handling it. For a limited time, you can have access to your taxes done by a local TurboTax expert for just $150, all if a TurboTax expert did file for you last year. Just file by February 28. Take taxes off your plate and get back to your life. Visit TurboTax.com to book your appointment today. The NBA trade deadline is basically here, and we want to give you a free month of our new Everydayer Club to help you get ready. If you need a group chat to keep up with the chaos, join ours. The Everydayer Club gets you access to the group chat on Discord just for Wizards fans, plus national chats where you can hang out with fans from across the league. If you want to go talk smack tonight, go ahead and you could go do that in there. I'll be hanging out in there. AB will be in there, so come join us and come chat with us whenever you want. You can also get ad-free versions of the show, and if you sign up by the trade deadline on February 5th, you can use code DEADLINE to get your first month free. Tap the link in the show notes to learn more. Alex Sarr, 29 points. He's 20 years old, AB, and you just think about 5 years from now, because it seems like players start to hit their real physical and basketball peak at 24 to 25 years old. It's going to be scary hours out there for everybody, because Sarr, you see the wild inefficiency moments he had tonight. Like, you see those spurts. He starts the game 3 of 4 from the field, then he proceeds to miss another 5 in a row. And then in the third quarter of this game, he goes 2 for 9. He's struggling. He has looks where he's kind of resorting back to fading away from the basket. But, man, he came up big for them. He gave you what he did defensively, 6 blocks. That ties his career high once again, and the 2 steals as well. Sarr is a beast right now, and he's doing it while being relatively inefficient. If he gets the efficiency down, which I think will come with time and putting on strength and muscle, he is going to be a problem in this league.
And it also helps that you'll have a healthy Trey Young playing alongside you, Ben. Donovan Clinnigan, oh my God, I'm having trouble with that last name. He was giving him space from the three-point line. I loved Alex Sarr saying, I'm going to go into you. The spin move, he loves it. The fadeaway mid-range shot, that and one, was very pretty. I think just reps like this when he's going up against guys his size, and I knew that Sarr was more athletic than Clinnigan, but does he have the confidence? Can he go into someone like DC. And man, I really wonder what this guy. What's the ceiling, man? I mean, I said top 8 going into the season as a center. There's a possibility Wemby, great, but outside of Wemby, Şengün, okay, and Jokic, but we don't know how many years he's going to play because we all know how excited he loves the sport of basketball. I think with Sarr, man, I think top 3, top 4, Ben. And it's not crazy because once this team starts winning, he's going to be a big reason. He's going to be part of why this team flips the switch once they land a top 4 pick and they have all these healthy guys in action next year, hopefully competing in the play-in. 20 years old, Ben, and Will Dawkins going into the season said a lot of these young guys won't be hitting their peak until year 4, year 5. How can you not be excited about this kid? From where he started his NBA career with that 0-15 Summer League game to now, look at the progress, ladies and gentlemen.
He's making a ton of progress, and he's got just little things to his game that he can iron out, and it's just going to take time and repetition to get there. That's the bottom line with these NBA players, and I feel like as fans, as people that cover the team, we just expect results all the time. We expect results instantly. We expect them often, but in actuality, it's not a linear process, and it definitely hasn't been a linear process for Alex Sarr. He's had a couple of quiet nights where he's resorted back to some old bad habits, but what he's done this year, legitimately making a case for himself, but like nearly an all-star level player this season. Obviously not going to get that type of nod, but yeah, rising star is a perfect way to describe Alex Sarr, future star Alex Sarr, because of how incredible he can be at this level. Just looking at what he's done as a player this season and what he contributes to you on both ends. I loved his switchability on the defensive side of the basketball tonight. They rant and rave, the front office does, about Alex Sarr and the ability he has to get out on the perimeter and guard up. A couple of instances he switches there on Avdija. He does a really good job, and even though he's not going to be as fast as a typical point guard or maybe even a point forward, like trying to beat him to the basket, that reach he has, and now he's developed good patience under the basket as a shot blocker. I think there was one instance, I can't remember who went down.
It was Drew Holiday.
Drew Holiday got under the basket, and maybe last year, Alex Sarr, he jumps up in the air and he fouls the hell out of Drew Holiday. Instead, he waits, he gets his arms out. Imagine Alex Sarr just towering over you like this. That is scary hours for you as a guard like Drew Holiday. He waits patiently, and right at the perfect moment, he times the block perfectly and gets it. He is figuring things out that I didn't think he necessarily would here in his second season. Just wait. A couple of years from now, especially if you have a point guard that's helping him develop as well, this guy's going to be special. He really is.
And it's amazing, Ben, because elite shot blockers, they're probably so tempted to jump at every pump fake. But the fact that he has such great discipline at such a young age, it truly is fascinating. And the development that you've seen from these guys. And Kyshawn was shooting poorly tonight offensively, but started picking it up. And the energy, not getting a tech when Donovan Clingan, I'm going to say DC, brought him down. And just being hyped. That's what you like. You understand that you were clapping your hands and you didn't get that no call, which rightfully so was a foul, but you keep your composure. And keeping your composure with the youngest team in the NBA, it can be tough, especially since you're on a 9-game losing streak. I want to tip off my hat to the WizKids tonight. They did everything right, and they found a way to win a game, and a game against a team that wants to go out there and win games because Portland's trying to make a name for themselves in the Western Conference. And Alex Sarr is a big reason why this team is going to be successful for years to come.
That's the bottom line, and I said it so many times where this guy seems like the most important piece in your rebuild. Not because he's going to be your bona fide superstar. I mean, maybe he is going to be one of your superstars. Maybe you're going to have multiple superstars. That's always helpful. We saw what that can do for an NBA team when Gold State had 3 of them. But anyways, if you hit on Alex Sarr and he becomes a guy that can command your low post for years, whether... I mean, dude, just imagine when they get another big to play next to him. We saw some, Scalabiciere. How about that? He gets called up. Oh, man.
Dude, Ben, I was going to tell you and text you this.
Long.
He is, oh, yeah. I was going to say 2K League, my league legend. I used to always pick him up when I used to play my league.
I mean, he was a first rounder in 2016, I think. So
yeah.
That is interesting. But if they actually do go after Walker Kessler this year, and pick him up in free agency. If you get another guy down low there with him, That's going to help out a lot because you need somebody that can match the physicality. Klingon had 70 pounds of weight on Alex Sarr. So, yeah, that's a tough matchup. You're asking a lot of a guy to match up physically, and I think he was pretty admirable at doing so. He finished with 12 boards tonight, and I'm not expecting Alex Sarr to be a 10 to 12 per game rebound guy. I know it's 7-1, like it seems like he should be. I just don't know if that's necessarily going to be his thing. I don't even know how much bigger he'll get. I think he'll put on muscle, but I don't thinking he'll put on 30 to 40 pounds. I don't know if that's necessarily going to be the case for Sarr. And I said that, but we should get used to the type of player he is now. He's just going to make refinements to his game, and hopefully you have another guy alongside him that can mask anything that's a deficiency part of his game.
Yeah, it's very complimentary if you can land Walker Kessler or maybe a Cameron Boozer, however the lottery ends up in our favor. I think Alex Sarr is turning heads in the NBA. NBA fans are starting to understand that this kid is legit. He is not to be trolled. I saw so many tweets, so many memes after the Summer League, and I'm going to keep bringing it up because when I came to being a Wizards fan, I had my back with this. This is the guy that wanted to come to DC, Ben. This is a guy who's taken such a leap in year 2, and it's just so fascinating because us Wizards fans, young Wizards fans, have never seen a center like this, offensively, defensively. The sky is the limit for this kid, and once you get a Trey Young back, once you get the lottery pick, and you're going to maybe shake some things up with this trade deadline coming up, which, by the way, I want to ask you, Ben, Marvin Bagley not playing, could he be on the move? We'll talk about that next. But Alex Sarr, can't say enough nice things about him, Ben.
An awesome night for Sarr, an awesome night for this team. I know that has you guys in the comments, you listening right now, fired up. If you're in the live stream right now, I think you already know what time it is. Let it all out next. There's nothing like being in an NBA arena. The crowd, the energy, the moment. Getting tickets, though, that part hasn't always been so simple. That's why Gametime has become the go-to app for scoring tickets fast without the hassle. It puts the advantage back where it belongs with the fans. Pull up the Gametime app and you can see all of the upcoming NBA games and you can get locked in within minutes. I love seeing the all-in price up front, no surprise fees at checkout. Being able to see the view from the seat before buying makes the decision easy. Zone deals stood out to me. You can choose a selection, and Gametime picks the seats, and you save. Great last-minute options are available, too, with NBA tickets showing up at discounted prices. Everything feels quick, intuitive, and stress-free from start to finish. Take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. That's code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. And remember, it's gametime.co, not .com. Whew. Fun one here in the district tonight. It's your favorite segment on the Locked On Wizards postgame show starting now. Your time to shine. Let it all out, AB. What are people saying about this win?
I want to say, though, it was nice to avoid the double-digit game losing streak after we had that snowstorm. Ben, I was piling out ice tonight. It is not fun. Locked On Law, what's up, man? Narrator, Deni did not prove trading him was a bad business decision. Oh, man, the Deni trade talks will never die. Baltimore Get Up 9537 says Sarr led in points, rebounds, and blocks. Pretty good. Also, narrator, 29 points on 29 shots. Alex, seriously. Hey, man, you take him how you can get him. I love him. He went in the face of DC and said, "Hey, I was the guy that was drafted ahead of you, and I'm gonna prove why I'm a really good center in this league for years to come." Baltimore Get Up also says he doesn't impact winning. Sharp does more. Like I told people. Okay. Sharp almost won that game by himself. Yeah, he is very, very athletic. Matthew Jr. says this was the win. Beat Deni and held him to under 20. When I saw Jameer get the steal on him, I was like, this is gonna be a fun game. And Deni still got his, but he did a good job on him limiting him.
He had 9 in the first quarter of the game, and they kept him quiet for the rest of the game. So you got to give a lot of credit to this Washington Wizards team for locking down and taking away some of the things that he does best, because that's a guy averaging 27 this year, and you held him to a pretty low total for his standard. He was impactful in the game on the boards, but, hey, man, that's a good performance defensively against a really good scorer in Deni Avdija.
Mm-hmm. 9M Brando says, I'm very confused why Trey Johnson doesn't touch the ball in the fourth after cooking all plus last game. Trey also didn't close. He needs to have opportunities over Bub and Chris in the fourth. I do agree. I would love to see shots taken by Trey over Chris Middleton because I always want to prioritize the young guys. But the lineups, again, and maybe it's just the fact that you don't want to win too much, but this was a game where you wanted to win. And seeing Trey Johnson get involved as much as he can get, that's what we love. I mean, 37% ain't good, but it hasn't been the norm this season. Yeah, Trey should be taking a lot of those misses. Sarr's jacking out. Yeah, we want Trey to take a lot of shots. That's the main gist. LOL, just noticed that Deni photo looks like Abdullah does after a bad loss. That's funny. The Son of God says, revenge game, they said. LOL. Indeed, it was a revenge game for the Wiz kids. Locked on Law says, shout out to Scal Labissiere. Shout out to him. Let me get someone else. Okay, Igor says, we definitely locked Deni. Igor, not a big fan of Deni. Washed Wiz Kid says, I still wish we had Deni instead of Bub, but I'm all for youth movement. Yeah, Bub Carrington tonight, Ben, showed some nice things from the three-point line. That's honestly, I think, Ben, and I'll get your take on this, his ceiling to me is a six-man, and I think that's very ideal.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you need to, specifically ask a ton out of Bub Carrington. One, he's 20, so I'm giving him the reins right now to fully develop into the player, that he eventually maybe can become. And whether or not his ceiling is being a six-man or not, he screams a really solid veteran role player for this team in the future. I think he's got a lot of areas that he can definitely work on, whether it's the ball handling or just playing on ball defensively. But that's what these moments are for when you're a 20-year-old player on the youngest team in the NBA. You have to give these guys time to develop into the players that they become, because not everybody is a finished product 2 years. Nobody is a finished product.
No one.
2, even 3 years into the career. It could take guys 4 to 5 years to really reach their full potential. So I'd say give it some time and let him continue to try to develop here. I've been encouraged by a couple of things. I don't think he was great tonight, but he did make some big shots in the fourth quarter of this game, so you got to give him credit there.
X no Trace X stocks word gotta go, bro. I don't know why, Ben, people hate on it. I think everyone's using it and it's cool.
It's a pretty common basketball term now. I don't know why some people get mad at me for using it.
Matthew Jr. also says Watkins stamped himself for the future. I want to see more of him, Ben, and hopefully we'll see more of him in the second half. But man, second round pick, his ability to play defense, just that alone, and the offense hopefully will come. It's still a little raw. Jameer Watkins in the second round, that was a great pick, man. I love it. I don't want to say great, but I love the pick, man.
He looks like he's going to be impactful for this team just by the defense alone. I mean, you see this situationally, having a guy like Jameer Watkins, that is really interesting because they could just sub him in late game situations, and he locked up on the biggest possession of the game. That's legitimately a weapon to have on your team, and he's going to give you hard minutes every single night on that side. If he gives you anything offensively, phenomenal. That's great, but he is that good on that end of the floor that you're netting, I think, a positive player when he's out there.
And how many times this season, Ben, have we seen him given the assignment of guarding the team's best player, like a Donovan Mitchell, Anthony Edwards, now Deni Avdija? This is what we're talking about as a rookie.
That's his job, man. That's why you draft. You take a flyer on a 24-year-old player like that.
This is the comment of the century. Locked on Law says Klinigan has all the athleticism of Tony Soprano. I don't know if you watch The Sopranos, Ben. I think it's one of the greatest shows ever. Check it out if you can. I love it. I love it. All right. Baxter. Oh, here we go. It says, suck it, Portland. Okay, a little trash talk. I like it. Ricky Maddie says, Klinigan just stood under the rim and snagged offensive rebounds, padding his stats. That's a big dude. It's going to be tough to defend him, but Alex Sarr did what he could do. Pedrino223 says, Adam Silver, please let AJ DeBonza come to Washington. We be immediate contenders. I did say in the previous video that if AJ's on this team next year, he's going to be the guy that gives you the most impact come year one of his NBA career. But I think they recently lost to number one Arizona
last night. He wasn't very. He had a tough night shooting the basketball. I'll say that. I'll push back. I don't agree with him being their biggest. I think he has the highest ceiling of all those players. I think if you want instant impact, I think Boozer would probably be your guy. He just, when I watch him, he gets double teamed every time he touches the basketball, and he still produces. That seems like the guy that'd be the most instant impact. But I think DeBonsta pretty obviously has the highest ceiling because he's an athletic wing. That's just how it works in the sport. But I think Peterson also would be pretty big instant impact as well.
Peterson versus the Bonds coming soon, guys. Make sure you guys check it out. Comrade Chill says, awesome win. Good times are ahead. Indeed. Let's see. I'm going to get some more up in here. Izzy says, hi, guys. I'm new to you guys, but love what we did in gang rebounding and all the Wizards defense today. Thanks, Izzy, for tuning in. Yeah, the Wizards, they did their best today, and they did really good offensively and defensively against Portland Trailblazers team that was trying to do it all. Dylan says, Kyshawn had more points than Deni. Hey, that is something. Watch Wiz Kid said AJ is number 1 on my board. I've seen so many mocks, guys, and it's the top 4, it's mixed up. I'll say top 3 is mixed up when it comes to ranking number 1. There's going to be a lot of talent, Ben. And, hey, I saw that OKC first-round pick. They've been losing recently. They have 10 losses now, so maybe it might go a little up, Ben. Who knows?
We'll have to see about that. That'd be interesting. Yeah, we'll definitely have to get Nathan back on the show here, or anybody from
That's going to be our
Locked On
best
NBA
friend
this
for
year.
many months up until
He's
the draft, man.
gonna hate us by the end of this because we're gonna ask him to come on the show like every damn day.
Yeah.
It seems like because that's the tape master. That dude is probably sitting in his house right now just watching tape of AJ DeBonsta, trying to figure out who's number 1. I think in his recent public big board, I think he had Boozer at 1, which was different. And that's what I like about him as well. Like, he's not afraid to say like what he really thinks, and that's what we need. We need that raw, unfiltered opinion on who would be number 1 right now.
Stewart says, please don't trade Bagley for a second-round pick. I think we'll end it off on this, Ben. Do you think Bagley gets shipped before the trade deadline?
I'm going to lean yes, but I don't know anything. So I'll lean yes, though.
Do you think picking up Scalabus, and I guess no TV, no Marvin, so you needed some help out there in the front
They
court?
needed to sign. So that's why it's a 10-day contract, but there might be something there. I tweeted that out at Schrober Sports, like referencing that it could be a possibility. I think there's been teams that have been interested. I mean, like, why wouldn't a team be interested in Marvin Bagley? Great center off the bench for a contending team. It could be helpful. Let's keep it on good terms though, and let's have him come back. That's my guy Ahmed. I'm inside the black and gold.
Sir.
Oh, sorry. We gonna end it on that?
Yeah, Wizards get a dub, end the streak against Deni Avdija. This was a wonderful night in the district, man.
120 of you guys live in here right now. A lot more of you listening in advance. Just post game, everybody enjoying a win. Washington avoids the 10-game slide. Thank you for tuning into Locked On Wizards today. Tomorrow, you do not want to miss it. We'll have Sam Quinn from CBS Sports on the show, and that's going to be a fun one. We'll get some insight. Maybe he'll tell us who he thinks should go number 1 as it stands right now. Make sure you subscribe and follow Locked On Wizards so you get all of the latest episodes. Find us on Twitter as well, at Locked On Wizards. You can find me at Strober Sports, and follow Abdullah, the DMV Sports Zone page on Instagram. If you never miss an episode, the Everydayer Club is built for you. Get Locked On Wizards ad-free, plus members-only Discord access. Head to LockedOnWizards.supercast.com to join the club. For my co-host, Abdullah Ayyubi, I'm Ben Strober, DC family. Enjoy the night.